Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Yes, Courtney, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. Hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and as always, good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and welcome to another rousing edition of another fucking podcast. In studio, I have Craig Gass. We're going to get to him in just a little bit. I know it has been a while since I've done a show because I did was it the Moody Blues Cruise? Yes, it was the Moody Blues Cruise and holidays and all that kind of stuff, but we are back. We'll be back for a few weeks before I leave again for Cruise to the Edge and the Monsters of Rock Cruise. All that great debauchery and liver destruction is coming up, and I cannot wait. My cankles, unfortunately, can wait. My liver, I don't know, we'll see. But, make sure you do go out and support those sponsors. Like, for instance, Sass Pants Designs. She is making me, and it's actually on the way now. This is why you got to support these guys. This is how great they are. She took a picture of Ace's stage jacket, Ace Frehley's stage jacket from '87, and just totally recreated it for me. I cannot wait to do that and wear that live and, wear it just walking around because it's fucking cool. And Rockwood Saloon, one cool thing that he does is you can take a pair of pants, so you don't wear them a lot. They're torn up. It's like, it's kind of shitty, but you don't want to get rid of them. Send them to him, and for like a couple $100, he will totally rock them out and make them badass. He is working on a pair of pants for me as we speak. So the Rockwood Saloon, and check out Sass Pants Designs as well. Hit up all of the social media, which is, of course, is Real Izzy Presley on the Instagram and the Twitter machine. On my quest for 1 million followers, it's creeping up there, about 2,000 or so, 2,050, slowly getting there. And if you want to donate to the show, you absolutely can. PayPal.me/Izzy Presley. And anybody that sends me money, hell, just send me $1. I will send you my ways. You can have me navigate your ways. And also make sure you check out my covers show, which is on Unfiltered Radio every Saturday at noon, called Under the Covers with Izzy Presley. Your favorite bands honoring their favorite bands. It is on for 2 hours each and every Saturday afternoon, and replay it. And you can go download it and listen to it at your convenience as well, just like this. Like you're listening live on Spreaker right now, click that follow button. If you're listening on iTunes, hit that subscribe button and support. And then buy shit, because we like it when you buy shit. Ladies and gentlemen, finally in studio, a man that I cannot believe that we've never really crossed paths, considering all the people that we know.
And especially all the same shit that we're into.
I know, and especially my best friend Ace Von Johnson, who you're very good friends with.
I love Ace.
Craig Gass, everybody.
Very excited.
I'm very excited. How
this
you doing,
room
man?
is loaded with so much iconic shit, from Elvis Presley to Star Wars to Kiss to Lemmy. It's like...
Did you see my new girlfriend? behind you?
I was looking at it and trying to figure out, is that Pam?
No, that is I guess it's a Barbie makeup thing, but I found her at Goodwill for like $4. I'm like,
There you go. Now you got a new girlfriend.
Actually, I put a ring on it now too, so she's my fiance.
It's a lot of iconic shit in this room. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
It's all the same stuff that I'm into. Yeah, and the Elvis and it's just yeah, man. This is and it's I have questions like where did another fucking podcast why that name?
Because everybody has a fucking podcast.
True. I didn't know if there was like a conversation that led to like we'll just call it another.
No, it's like before I moved out here about 4 years ago, I was like, okay, I didn't know really what I was gonna do. I just knew I wanted to come out here. And
Where'd you move out here from?
Minneapolis.
Okay.
And
where I'm heading to.
Yes, you are the Hoff system.
I am. I'm excited about. I'm scared and excited looking at the temperatures up there. I always perform in the Super Bowl city every year.
Oh wow!
And
See, I did not know that.
Shocking to me that they were going to have the game in Minneapolis, although it made sense because they built the indoor stadium. And
right.
the first Super Bowl I ever went to in person was in Detroit after they built that stadium and made it indoors. But I'm nervous about going to Minneapolis. I'm watching the temperatures. It was, I think, 15 below like 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah, good times.
But it's starting to warm up. But even if it gets below zero, I'm excited for the experience because I love Minneapolis.
And that stadium, I've driven by it. It
Me
wasn't
too,
done,
many times.
And it is. I mean, you've seen it on TV. Obviously, it is.
It's breathtaking to look at.
Yeah.
Every time you drive by it, it's just like, God, look at that thing. It just looks like an unbelievable thought for architecture. It's just
right.
And I love that, like, there's a big problem with birds dying.
Oh yeah,
birds keep flying into the building and killing
well,
themselves.
that's what they say. That's what they say. That's all the environmentalists having a fucking hissy fit about, shit like that. But it's not as bad as they say. But it happens. But, birds fly into shiny shit all the time.
There's a couple hundred birds dying a year, though, in front of that building.
Couple hundred.
I was going to say, it's
couple
like,
hundred.
Hey, man, it happens everywhere. No, this building's like, and it's funny. There's something about it's definitely an issue with that building, and I think it's funny. I heard Jim Norton say something about, good, fuck them stupid birds. He's very angry about the birds that killed themselves, which I thought was hilarious.
Oh, that's fucking great.
But yeah, man, Minneapolis is where my old roommate, Mitch Hedberg.
That's right. I knew you knew him. I didn't realize that you were roommates with him.
Mitch Hedberg was my first roommate in New York. And
okay.
I had never been to Minneapolis until he passed. I went to his funeral in St. Paul. And what a kind person, a good dude, and yeah, I still miss that guy. Whenever that guy's name comes up, it's like shit. Like I got clean off of drugs 13 years ago, and in the first year that I got clean, 7 of my friends died. They were all comedians.
Right.
4 drug overdoses, 3 drinking and driving car accidents, and Mitch was the first one to go. And bummed out that the reason I went to Minneapolis for the first time was to go to his funeral, but made a lot of friends. And
yeah, that was kind of a star-studded affer up there. I know.
Not the funeral.
Oh, the party, the memorial.
His memorial here in
right.
L.A.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, because I know one of my friends, he's in this band called Hairball out of Minneapolis. They I don't know if you're familiar with
I've
them.
Heard of Hairball.
They, if you guys aren't familiar, they kind of take. They have 3 different singers, and the band stays on stage at all times, and it's like the ultimate 80s rock show.
Nice.
And they all dress up. So it's like they start out, and Bob will come out as Paul or Gene in full garb, and they'll do a couple Kiss songs.
Really?
Then the next guy comes out as David Lee Roth, and the next guy comes out as Joe Perry, and they just go. And
wow.
Fucking bombs and fire and everything.
Favorite idea for a Kiss cover band. I used to live in Seattle. It's where my career started, was in Seattle. I started doing stand-up there in 1993, and there was a Kiss cover band called Gene's Addiction.
I'm familiar.
And it was for Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons on drums, Gene Simmons on guitar, Gene Simmons on bass, Gene Simmons on vocals, and they only did Kiss songs where Gene sings.
Well, there's another one out of, I think, Winnipeg called the Paul Stanleys.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Oh, my God. I can't believe you haven't heard of these guys.
No, I'm actually planning on I went to Winnipeg for the first time last summer. I timed it. So I book all my shows around the country, around football games, specifically around Seahawk games, Mariner games, and concerts.
So you're from Seattle?
No, I'm from New York.
Oh, okay.
But and I grew up 10 miles from Yankee Stadium, but Yankee fans are really terrible people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And-
They're kind of like Packer fans.
Packer fans, I've always found. I mean, for the
Well,
most
you haven't dealt with them as a Vikings fan.
Okay, that's a weird thing. That Vikings Packers thing that I've noticed, and there's also another weird thing that makes no sense to me at all, which is the Cardinals Cubs thing. The Cardinals fans hate Cubs fans.
Oh, it's a rivalry.
Yeah, but the Cubs until last year never hurt anybody.
It doesn't matter.
But it makes no
It
sense
doesn't matter.
to hate the lovable
It
losers.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's strange to me. It's really
Because there's probably people that hate the Cleveland Browns.
that's just bizarre. You know, I mean, I love the team for having their fans for having a parade a couple weeks ago. They had a parade.
Oh, they did?
They
I
threw
didn't
a
see that.
parade. Somebody actually registered for the city permit halfway through the season to stage a parade when the season ended, anticipating that they would go 0-16.
Oh, wow.
And they went 0-16. They had a parade, and a couple thousand fans actually showed up for it.
They probably got more fans than the Kings got when they won the Stanley Cup.
Maybe, but I was in awe of it. I really admire that kind of love for a team that just gives you nothing in return.
Right.
And I really respect that. But I book all my shows around the country around going to see Seahawk games, Mariner games, and concerts. And I booked myself in Winnipeg last summer to go see Guns N' Roses.
Aha.
And you know who else did the same thing? Chris Jericho.
Of course he did.
Chris Jericho and I ran into each other at that show. And he did a spoken word thing, which was hilarious.
Oh, he's a fucking funny guy.
Dude, Chris Jericho's one-man show was one of the funniest things. I haven't been a wrestling fan since Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the tail end of Bob Backlund and Andre the Giant, and
Hogan was in his prime.
Yeah, Iron Sheik and all those guys, and I still remember Special Delivery Jones was from the town that I grew up in.
SD Jones, fuck yeah.
SD Jones was from Mount Vernon, New York, which is where I was born, and I haven't been a fan since then, so I didn't get the references of the wrestlers he was talking about. But man, Chris Jericho's description of being a fanboy growing up of professional wrestling was hilarious. He had some great stories, but I ran into him at that Guns N' Roses show, and there was a few times we're watching the show, and Chris Jericho's famous.
Yeah.
And but he's not, he doesn't give a shit about anything but just watching this Guns N' Roses show. And within 5 minutes of standing next to him, he looks over at me and goes, dude, okay, this is the greatest Guns N' Roses song because of the lyrics are perfect. The solo is so emotional. And he's giving me like a blow-by-blow about why this is the greatest Guns N' Roses song. 10 minutes later, he goes, wait, scratch that. This is the greatest Guns N' Roses song. And I'll tell you why. Because of this, and then this, and think about this, dude. That middle bridge is so magic. And then like 10 minutes later, he goes, okay, I'm sorry, wait a minute, because I forgot about this one. I totally forgot about this one. This is the greatest. And I'm not going to argue with a guy who can hospitalize you with his hands. He can.
Yeah, he could. Absolutely.
He's being a music geek, but physically this guy could just annihilate you and ruin your day.
Yeah.
And it was really funny to have a guy that physically intense be that much of a geek about music. And
dude, he's such a fanboy, and I love it.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear when he was on with Trunk, it was him, Sebastian, and Scott Ian, when Axl came down?
Of course.
You listening to Jericho in the background? He's totally fanboying out. It's great.
You know, it's funny because there was some shit hit the fan like what was it, like a year ago or 2 years ago, because Scott Ian apparently put out a book where he described that night. Chris Jericho put out a book where he described that night. I guess Eddie Trunk mentioned that night in something that he wrote,
right? And
then Sebastian Bach wrote about it in his book, but he didn't say whose show it was, and he intentionally left.
My
it.
God!
Do you remember this story?
Yes, I do remember hearing about it.
And Eddie Trunk asked him, like, dude, why didn't you? And not only did Sebastian cop to it, he said, because I was mad that you didn't mention my fucking song.
That's right. That's
in
right.
your book. And Sebastian got mad. And I thought that was incredibly honest of Sebastian.
Fucking,
to cop to it.
I didn't know you did a Sebastian because hey man, get that fucking photographer out of here, man. Because I had a Sebastian meltdown on stage.
You had one?
On the Monsters of Rock cruise during the Motor Bowie Jam. Sebastian had a couple drinks of wine, and he was pretty much 3 sheets to the wind, and he kind of had a meltdown on stage. I was on, and as I was introing him, so I'm like, I'm on stage. I got Frank Hannon. I got
Frank Hannon.
Oh, fucking one of the nicest guys in fucking music, dude. So fucking talented. And
second to Jeff Keith, who might be the nicest guy in music, I think.
I've met Jeff too, and he's super cool, super cool. I just did a gig with Frank on the Moody Blues Cruise. We did the Elvis '68 Black Leather sit down. He was my Scotty Moore.
No shit.
Yeah, he bought an SG on the way to the cruise for it.
No shit.
Yeah. And I can't remember who else. Luis Vegas from Heavy Mellow. I'm not sure if you're familiar with those guys.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah. The flamenco guys that do metal songs. And I can't remember who else is on there. It was the singer from Madam X.
Wow.
The current singer from Madam
I was
X.
going to say Sebastian Bach.
Yeah, Sebastian was the original. Yeah, so those two were singing Rebel together. And Sebastian came up on stage and he just went. It's like,
well,
okay.
I've always had a knack for doing voices, and if I describe a situation enough times, I can do the voice of everybody in the situation.
Nice.
And I had a night where I met Sebastian. I was shocked that he knew who I was, but it makes sense because Sebastian's a huge Howard Stern fan.
Yeah.
And he's a huge Kiss fan.
Oh, absolutely. And let me say this: every time I've met Sebastian when he's sober, he's been a super nice guy.
Oh, he's one of my
super cool.
He's one of my. In fact, I think he's one of the funniest dudes. Like,
oh yeah, dude.
Like, and talk about being a fan. He's
right.
Like, he's such a fan,
right?
And he has no shame in being able to say, "Oh my god, I fucking love this band." There's no part of him that wants to be like cool,
right,
right, and act like, established. He will tell you how much he loves somebody, and he's not afraid to get excited about meeting someone.
Yeah, that's badass.
But I saw him on stage at that show that Eddie Trunk did for the first responders from September 11th.
Yeah.
They did a show with a reunited Twisted Sister for the first time in
that's
10
right.
years. And Ace
and Ed won't let you forget it.
And
I love Ed. Ed's a good friend of mine. So.
And Overkill, Sebastian, Anthrax, Ace Frehley. And I go up to Sebastian and I go, "Hey man, my name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian." He goes, "Dude, I know exactly who the fuck you are, dude." And then we start talking, and he actually gave me this great story that I shared so many times that I got the voice down. And the story was talking about Gene Simmons. I asked him, "Has Gene ever been cheap with you?" And he said, "Dude, that guy, I went to his fucking house, and he's got like a fucking Kiss museum in his fucking house. And I walked in, and there's like a bag with like 100 Kiss cell phone covers." And I said, "Dude, what the fuck is that?" And Gene Simmons goes, "That's our new product for Kissmas. It's our Kiss cell phone covers. Can I have one of those?" "I wish I could, but if you go to kissonline.com, you can buy as many as you..." And he wouldn't give him one piece of plastic.
Yeah, he talked about that on that Trunk show.
Really?
Because Ian went right after. He goes, "Well, that's funny because I brought my wife Pearl down there, and he like swagged her out with this denim jacket with Destroyer on the back."
No way.
You can get that at Neiman Marcus for $700.
I went to his house to film his TV show.
That's right. I did want to talk about this.
His TV show, Gene Simmons' Family Jewels, and I was kind of nervous being around him. I'm a fan, and I remember my first arrived at his house. He was out shopping, and then when he came in, he was nervous about why I was there. He wanted to ask me a bunch of questions to make sure. I don't know what he thought I was going to do. That I was going to.
And you met him before this?
Oh, many.
So this is post the Stern,
post
the Stern.
Okay.
This
is I met him as a fan, which I don't want to bring up because he wasn't nice to me when I was a fan. And
Right.
even Howard tried to get me to say it to his face. He goes, "Tell him what happened." I go, man, I'm not, But in his house, he said, "So what are you going to do? Are you going to make fun of me? Why are you here?" And I said, "I'm not. I just came to film some stuff. And you know what? Can I tell you what would be a perfect day for me, Gene? If I want to hang out with you, and I want to tell you some jokes, and I want you to tell me your favorite jokes. That would be a perfect day." And he goes, "You want to hear a joke?" And I was like, "Sure." And he told me a joke. He told a 5-minute version of this joke. I can summarize it in a couple sentences. He said, guy dies, he goes to heaven. He's St. Peter is giving him a tour of heaven. And then they open up a door, and inside this door, Gene Simmons is sitting on a giant throne. And this guy says, "Oh, my God, what is Gene Simmons doing here?" And St. Peter says, "That's not Gene Simmons. That's God. He just thinks he's Gene Simmons." And I went, "Holy shit, I'm going to get struck down right here. I got to get the fuck out of this house." Like, what the fuck is going on? I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, yeah.
He has jokes about himself. I love it.
And then at the end of the day, I'm getting ready to leave. And I'm in a production van getting ready to leave his house. And I hear there's some communication going on. There's like kind of a buzz going on the property and a buzz going on in the van. And the guy in the passenger seat answers his radio and he goes, "Hey, guys, we got him in the car. All right, I'll tell him to come in. Hey, Craig, Gene wants to see you before you leave. He wants to talk to you privately." And I said,
"Oh, shit."
And I go, "Well, just tell him that we're gone. Tell him we're leaving." And he goes, "No, he already knows you're here. He knows you're in the van. He wants you to get out of the van and go talk to him privately." And I went, "Oh, fuck, what?" Like, I was so scared.
Yeah, you're shitting your pants as you're walking back up there.
As a guy who's been in a lot of trouble in my life, I always think the worst is about to happen when someone needs to talk to me alone.
Right.
I just have a natural, oh no, they know what's going on, and I don't even know what I was afraid of, but I was just afraid. And so they said, "Go meet him in front of the museum. There's like a KISS museum. There really is a KISS museum in his house."
Of course there is.
And it's actually glorious.
Of course
if
it
you're
is.
a KISS fan. I put on his boots. Anyway, so it's a long story. But so I go back to his outside his fucking museum, and Gene Simmons is standing in front of his door, and there's a table with merch on it, and he goes, "Would you like some parting gifts?" And I was like, "Oh, sure. What size? Do you wear extra large? Here, let me give you some T-shirts. What? Do you like boxers? You want briefs? I have KISS briefs. Do you like comic books?" And I go, "Oh, I would, whatever you want to give me, I would love to." And he goes, "All right, let me give you a shopping bag." And he whips out whoosh, a KISS shopping bag.
Of course.
It's got a KISS logo on it.
Of course it does.
And he starts filling up this bag with all this merch and all this cool shit. And then at one point, I see baby clothes. And the baby clothes, I go, "Oh my God, Gene, question. This is not for me. This is my friend Mike is the guitarist of Pearl Jam, and he's the biggest KISS fan on the planet, and he just had a baby. Is it okay if I grab, this isn't for me, but is it okay if I get one of those baby onesies for Mike?" And he said, "Is that Mike McCready? Is that who you're talking about?" I go, "Yeah, he's a dear friend of mine, and he loves you, and he's a big fan of yours, and he just had the baby, and I just thought it'd be appropriate. You can have two. Go ahead." And I was like, "Oh, thank you." And I took two of them, and I gave them to Mike.
So it was kind of like my Mr. Big shopping bag, except
Oh,
it said
nice.
KISS on it.
Exactly.
This is a gift from Mr. Von Johnson.
Is that right?
Yeah. He regifted a bunch of shit he got on the Mr. Big tour in Europe. I got a T-shirt. I got a bag.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
That is
great.
hilarious. Yeah, but I'm a big KISS fan. I'm a big rock fan. I grew up in the 80s listening to, it started with Quiet Riot was the first that really kind of, for a lot of us, Quiet Riot broke that whole scene wide open.
I remember.
And as my buddy Rick Friel likes to say, Kevin Dubrow opened the door and everybody trampled him running in
Right.
as they came in. And then after that, it was Motley Crue, and then it was Rat, and all those other bands, Cinderella and Tesla and Skid Row and Warrant, and then started getting into heavier stuff and Metallica and Megadeth, but it started with Quiet Riot that just kind of made me go, what is this,
Oh,
man?
I know you're a huge Metallica fan, and you've opened for Metallica in stadiums, which boggles my fucking mind.
I opened for Metallica at a venue in New York called the Bowery Ballroom.
Okay.
And I had made friends with Lars at that point, and I called him up and said, hey, man, it was a K-Rock event. I was working at K-Rock at the time with Howard Stern, and I said, if Metallica had any balls, you would let a comedian open that show. And he called me back. This is really embarrassing, but I saved the message. I actually,
of course.
This is
Why
very
wouldn't you?
Well, there's more to it. I've saved a lot.
I do that shit.
Okay. I've saved a lot of messages from, like, George Carlin left me a bunch of messages over the years. He was a mentor to me, and it was back on the Answer Machine days with the Answer Machine tapes, and I saved all the tapes. And
of course.
So yeah, all right. So a little creepy. I don't know why, but I was doing a little Tom Arnold there. I don't know where that came from, but I like fat women and cocaine, and I was actually at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting with Lars Ulrich, and his sponsor is Dave Mustaine, who's addicted to upskirt porn, and I probably should say it's supposed to be anonymous, but I don't know. But anyways, so Lars left me a message. Hey, man, I talked to James and Kirk and some of the other guys. And yeah, let's have you come down and do a couple 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is you do. And let's fucking do it. Huh? Ha! And I was like, all right, cool. And I got to open for Metallica, but it was I think 1,000 seats is the Bowery Ballroom.
Oh, okay.
I did go on to open for a bunch of bands after that. I did a tour with Alice in Chains. Oh, wow. Where we did 3,000 seaters. System of a Down, who I met through Lars. Those guys called me on like 5 days' notice and asked me to open for them in Toronto in front of 25,000 people. Yeah, I've done a few big, but with Metallica specifically, I opened for them in a club, and it was the only way to get tickets was the K-Rock or through the Metallica fan club.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but it was really.
At what point did you get into Metallica?
And Motley Crue, by the way. I opened a couple shows on the Motley Crue farewell tour. Metallica.
Motley fucking Crue, man.
I got into Metallica. I used to smoke a lot. I smoked a lot of pot for about a year and a half before I discovered Coke. And then when I discovered Coke, I remember just going, oh, this is amazing. I remember that first time doing Coke and thinking, I know that Coke gets a bad rap, but do people ever talk about how amazing this is? Because it's actually really good. Yeah, I was so shocked at how great cocaine was.
Well, and, just to hold you, this is the thing that I love about cocaine is it does nothing to me.
Is that right?
Yeah, it absolutely. I don't. It's not like I go out and do it all. It's like if it's passed around, whatever.
Yeah,
nothing.
Well,
nothing.
For me, it was at least for the first couple of years, it was like, wow, this is the perfect just sitting still and having the greatest conversation ever is what it felt like. But in my pot smoking days, there was a couple buddies that I would at lunch every day. We'd go with I think we had a 4 or 5 foot graphic bong that we would take down the street to hang out behind a cemetery or behind this movie theater that was down the street in Tucson, and we'd listen to whatever Scorpions. Remember, we just listened to a lot of metal that was out at the time. And then my buddy said, hey, there's this band called Metallica. You got to listen to this song. It's called Battery. And we're smoking bongs. And for the most part, we would listen to pretty groovy rock shit. I think Scorpions was about as heavy as it got with those couple of friends. But they're playing Battery cranked on this sound system. And I'm trying to do bongs, and it just really fucked me up. It reminded me of the first time I did meth, actually. The first time I did meth was the first time I ever worked out, and it was the first time I ever listened And it was also the first time I listened. That was a great Ace Frehley laugh, by the way. And it was also the first time I ever listened to Slayer. And I remember a buddy of mine, this dude Keith, was like, he goes, dude, man, he goes, you got a nice fucking build, man, but you gotta like work out. Just keep that shit up, man. You ever work out? And I go, no, I never work out. He goes, you come over to my house, man. We're gonna fucking work out. And I'm doing a Pablo Francisco now for some reason. And he goes, dude, we come out, squeaky yiggity. We'll come out. We're gonna fucking work out. Yeah. So I went over to his house and we're like hanging out and we're getting ready to work out. And he goes, yeah, dude, you ever do meth? And I go, no. And he goes, oh, dude, it's like little glass, man. You gotta do like small amounts. But yeah, man, chop it up. And I chop up this shit and I snort it. And he goes, yeah. He goes, you feel it fucking burns, right? And I go, yeah. And there's tears coming out of my face. He goes, all right, man. He goes, we're gonna work out. He goes, you ever listen to Slayer, dude? You ever listen to Hell Awaits? He puts on Hell Awaits and then he goes, all right, come on, let's work out. You just gotta work out. And I'm high on crystal meth and I'm here, Bernie Fern! I'm doing the chef from the Muppet Show. Gertie Fern! Hardy Ferdy! And I'm trying to work out and I'm like, dude, just turn this off! Everybody just stop! Turn it off! I'm on meth! I don't know what the fuck this band Slayer is, and I can't work out like this. It's fucking crazy. And yeah. It took me a little over the edge, and I had to like slow down a little bit, which you can't do on math. Yeah. But yeah, that was very intense. That was a great crash course. But it took me an adjustment. Metallica came to town a few months later, opening for Ozzy on the Ultimate Sin tour. Metallica was supporting Master of Puppets, and it was just different. It was so different. And as soon as Metallica hit the stage with Battery, it just like. There was this insanity that started, this pit that was like, wow, this is different. It's just different. I mean, everything else that's out right now, this is just there's some heavy content going on with the lyrics. Yeah. There's some
because you're used to songs about fucking and doing drugs
and partying and having a great time, and there's something being said here that's like. That's really heavy. Queensryche also did that too with their lyrics. And
Geoff Tate and the Queens of the Lake.
Which, when Metallica came back around to headline a year later on Injustice for All, they had Queensryche supporting Operation Mindcrime. And
I saw Queensryche on the Empire tour, and they filmed the night before
in Wisconsin.
But I saw it at the Target Center with Suicidal Tendencies as their opening band.
Wow!
And I went to see Suicidal, and I'm not a huge Reich fan.
Yeah.
But I really like Reich now. I like him with Todd better than I like him with Jeff, because Jeff bugs me for some reason. I don't know what it is.
I was very anti-Queensryche for a long time because anyone who I knew in the 80s who liked Queensryche was really into Queensryche.
Tom Coble.
Yep. And it annoyed me. I'm sure Tom Coble would have annoyed me too.
Yes, he would have.
And it just annoyed me that I didn't like the idea of people being like that crazy about something. It just, for some reason, it just repelled me. And so I was anti-Queensryche just on that principle alone. It was a really stupid reaction that I had. And then I remember being on a trip where I had nothing to listen to, and someone gave me a Operation Mindcrime and explained, it's all one story, man. It's all. And I was like, really? And I listened to it.
So you're thinking, oh, this is going to be like the fucking Elder? What's going on?
I didn't understand, and I flipped the cassette back and forth, trying to understand what the story was. And the music started growing on me.
There's some great songs on that record. I mean, fuck.
And then when I saw the Empire tour where they played Operation Mindcrime in its entirety, that still to this day is one of the greatest concerts I've ever seen in my life. I went on to see that Empire tour. I'm going to say about a dozen times, and every time was in awe of. It was a masterpiece,
absolutely.
Like going to see Roger Waters bringing back The Wall a few years ago. I saw that tour.
I've never been high enough to get into Pink Floyd.
Well, I was never a big Pink Floyd fan, but The Wall specifically is art. It is just an amazing, brilliant piece of art. And Roger Waters is a little wacky himself, but. I'm Jewish, and Roger said some things about me. So.
Well, it's funny because I host Soundcheck Live at Lucky Strike, and also if you are listening to this right now, you're going to be at NAMM Wednesday the 24th. We are kicking off Bash Fest with Soundcheck Live at the Yost Theater. Run, do not walk to your ticket office to get those tickets now. Richie Sambora is going to be playing.
He's a white dude. That's crazy.
Frank Hannon.
Yeah, he's a white dude too.
I think they ate, and a whole lot of more white people.
Yeah, white people are crazy. They love devil music. That's sexy.
And then the following week, we'll be back at Lucky Strike.
With Tracy Morgan and Bobby Brown. The black one.
Not the Bobby Brown that I'm friends with.
Hey, I heard that interview, man.
Really?
The Bobby Brown. Yeah, man, that's trippy.
Was it the Valentine's Day one or the first one that I did?
It was probably the first one. It's
that was when I first started doing the show. She was like my second in studio guest.
How did you know her?
I reached out to her.
Just reach out and just
we had a mutual friend in Lorraine Lewis, who is from Femme Fatale, and she produced the Ex-Wives of Rock TV show. And
it's amazing how easy it can be if you reach out to somebody to get someone to respond. I think I've probably the last 2 or 3 times I've performed in Hollywood at the comedy. Like, I'm in Hollywood all the time, but when I'll do like 1 or 2 big shows a year at the Comedy Store, that's I'll go and I'll do a ton of media and promote and get a bunch of people to come out, and have a lot of musician friends that will come out. And I have sent just a cold message a few times to Juan Crozier from Rat. Try to get him to come out to a show, and he has not even responded yet to any of my messages. But I've just was such a fan,
right?
That, I just thought, and I thought he would get a kick out of what I'm doing on stage. I actually had this embarrassing thing happen where I was in Toronto doing a show in a really fucking impressive theater. I was doing 2 shows at a place called the Panasonic Theater. I think I did like 1,400 tickets between 2 shows. And I thought, oh, you know what? I should reach out. There's a guy named Ray Daniels who's the manager of Rush. He's been their manager since day one, 40 plus years ago. And I talk about Kiss a lot on stage. There's a piece of comedy I've been working on that's just been evolving for a few years called I Think Gene Simmons Is Going to Kill Me. And I thought Ray would appreciate that. I really wasn't scheming. I wasn't trying to get to Ray and go, "Hey, I'm a comedian. You should tell Geddy Lee." Like I really,
right.
I really didn't. I didn't want anyone from Rush to come to my show. I thought Ray specifically, as a businessman who's handled the business of Rush for 40 years, and if you know anything about the history of Rush and Kiss, they flip-flopped a lot in their first 5 years of touring. They toured with each other almost exclusively. Yeah. Rush being the opening act, Kiss headliner, and then Kiss being the opening act, Rush headliner, and they flip-flopped many times over the years. So I thought he would appreciate this material I do about Kiss and my love of Kiss. And so someone got me the phone number for this company. It's called SRO Management. And I get the phone number, and I'm like, all right, cool, I'm going to call and get this guy on the phone. And then it hit me right as I'm about to call them, like, wait a minute, nobody knows who the fuck I am. Right. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And I tried to think, like, well, maybe if I tell him, hey, I do voices on Family Guy and American Dad, but what if he doesn't like, do I say that when they pick up the phone? Like, I'm a comedian, I've done voices on Family Guy. Like, it just sounds like you're trying too hard. And I thought, you know what, I'll just fucking prank call him. Let me see if I can just prank my way all the way. Because this is what I've been doing for years. Not? For fun. Yeah, why not? So I pick up the phone. Hello, SRO Management.
Hi, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And I need to speak with Ray Daniels, please.
And this woman goes, hold on. Click. Right to the next line, and I hear, hi, Ray Daniels' office.
Hi, this is Gene Simmons from Kiss. And I need to speak with Ray Daniels, please.
And this woman goes, Gene, Ray's actually out of town today. But if you want to give me your cell phone number, I'll have him call you tomorrow when he gets back in. I said,
how about you give me his cell phone number?
And she went, okay, I just want to make sure that it's you. And I said,
all right, then ask me a question.
And she went, I'm sorry?
You want to know if it's me? Ask me a question.
And she went,
I'll tell you what, I'll ask you a question. Who's the greatest rock band of all time?
And she went, I'm guessing it's Kiss.
That's right.
And she went, all right, it's 416. And she gave me the phone number. And I went, what the fuck? And I'm writing it down. Like, I can't believe I'm just being an asshole. I was such an asshole. She's like, all right, clearly you're Gene Simmons. And she gave me the phone number. And then I get this phone number. And then I call this number. And he doesn't pick up. I get the voicemail. And I go, boop. Ray. Oh, man. I hope you have a good sense of humor. My name's Craig Gass. I'm a stand-up comedian. I do voices on Family Guy, American Dad, and I've been on a bunch of TV shows. I just prank called your assistant, and she gave me your cell phone number. And I hope this doesn't bother you at all, but I'm performing at the Panasonic Theater next week in Toronto, and it would, if you'd like to come down, I think you would. I never heard from Ray, never heard from the assistant. I don't even know if she still works for him anymore.
Right?
Yeah, it was just so that was kind of an unfortunate thing, but yeah, but I'm always trying to send out. I'm always like a lot of musicians who I've made friends with over the years. I'm always trying to invite them out to come out to a show, and it's fucking crazy to me. Jim Florentine and I will always like we've done a lot of shows together where I think it's like a casual competition where he'll go, "Hey, I'm not even doing Jim's voice."
He sounds a lot like Colin Quinn.
He does. He'll go, "Nice," but that's actually Casey Armstrong. But he goes, "Yeah, I got." Now I'm doing Colin Quinn. He'll go, "Yeah, I got this guy coming down and this guy," and I go, "Oh yeah, well I got this guy coming." And it's almost like we got Pokemon cards or something. Like we're trying to compare who has the. And one night we had this fucking crazy experience where I told him someone was coming down that Jim actually got so excited that he said, "Oh my God, can you introduce me?" It was Rudy Sarzo.
Oh, Rudy's the nicest guy in the fucking world.
One of the nicest guys on planet Earth. I go, "Rudy Sarzo's coming down tonight." And Jim goes, "Can you introduce me?" I go, "Absolutely." This is at the Canyon Club down the road here in whatever town that is. And I bring him out. I bring him backstage, and I go, "Hey, Jim." I go, "Rudy, this is my buddy Jim Florentine. Jim, this is Rudy Sarzo." And they shake hands, and Jim goes, "I'm such a fan. I saw you on the Blizzard of Oz tour in Sunrise, Florida." And Rudy goes, "Wait a minute. That was March 14th of 1982. And Jim goes, "Yeah, that was." And I was like, what? And I'm waiting for Rudy to go, "And you were wearing
right?
Diver Down." But the reason that Rudy knew is because he had just wrapped up
His book.
And
I remember reading that chapter, yes.
Where he wrote a book because apparently on that tour where Randy Rhoads died, Rudy kept a diary. He kept a diary of what was going on in his life. And so he just wrote a book based on his notes of the last 2 weeks that Randy was alive, or 10 days, whatever it was. So, and Randy Rhoads died in Florida, so it's like all these big markets in Florida.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, that Sunrise show, that's the one where Randy ended up going to an after party and gave lessons to this kid that was a huge fan, if I remember correctly from the book.
No shit.
Yeah. Which is probably why he remembers that date specifically.
Wow. Yeah, it was just
either that or he's Rain Man. I mean,
yeah, that was what I thought. I was like,
right?
What the fuck is going on? Jim says, "Hey, I saw you in Sunrise, Florida on the Blizzard of Oz," and he goes, "Oh, hold on, wait, don't tell me." And he's naming the date, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and it was because of, it's still pretty magical. It's still pretty magical to tell somebody how much they mean to you, and to tell them something personal about when you first saw them, and for them to actually remember. Because how many times do you talk to people and you go, and this is why I don't do this anymore, you go, "Hey, I met you at blah, blah, blah," and they'll go, right. "Oh, when was I there?" They don't remember, in fact, somebody messaged me about something I did on a TV station, and I was like, did I do that TV? I don't remember doing, everything.
Well, yeah, you do so many, and it just kind of blurs together. Yeah, thankfully, it's like most people I know, it's from the Monsters Cruise.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we were on the Monsters Cruise. Oh, yeah, you're the karaoke guy. Oh, you wore the mankini.
Those cruises can be...
Right?
Woo! There are some shit shows that get on that cruise, man.
Oh, I know. As part of the charm. I'm one of them.
I've done a few Kiss cruises.
Yeah.
I've done... I actually got in a lot of trouble on a Kiss cruise because I made a fucking... This I still can't wrap my brain around this. This still surprises me that anyone got mad about this, but some people got upset. I met a girl on the Kiss cruise. In
the words of G. Simmons, by accident.
Well, no, she was just she actually, there was nothing that happened with the girl. She was just she was the cruise director. Super peppy, super up. She was the Julie McCoy of the Kiss cruise. And she's really excited to meet me hey, you're the guy, you're the comedian, the Family Guy dude, and oh my God, hey, do you want to make a funny announcement on the ship tomorrow morning? And I was like, oh
boy,
fuck yes. Is everyone going to hear it? By the way, this chair just made an amazing fart sound.
That's why I like it.
Yeah. And I said, is everyone going to hear my announcement? She said, oh, it gets piped into every cabin on the ship. So the next morning, everyone on the KISS cruise wakes up to, hey, everybody, this is Paul Stanley.
And this is Gene Simmons from KISS. And we have a very important announcement. Do not panic, but we have a very important announcement about the KISS cruise. It seems that the KISS cruise has just hit an iceberg.
Now, keep in mind, when I said we've hit an iceberg, we're in the middle of the fucking Bahamas.
Exactly.
When I said that. There's no reason for you to be looking at your window going, this ship's going down!
Right.
We're all going to fucking die! We're in the Bahamas!
But do not panic, because KISS is going to take care of everybody. We actually have 3 packages to get you off the ship, okay? First, we have the Platinum package, which is $5,000, where we put you in a life raft and you have your own private photo taken with KISS. Then we have the Diamond package. Isn't that right, Paul?
That's right! The Diamond package!
For $10,000, where we throw you in the ocean with Tommy and Eric, and then KISS floats by on a raft, and we do a private acoustic show in the ocean.
And everything I said was just stupid. But
Right.
apparently, a couple of the passengers actually ran to the employees and said, is KISS really going to charge us to get off this boat? They really thought that we'd hit an iceberg, and then
Oh, my God.
KISS was standing at the exits waiting to charge people to get off the boat. It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't trouble like what's his lips got on the last one.
Who got
The
in
comedian. The comedian. Who the fuck is it? Carl? Was it Mencia that was on there? That got hammered?
No, I didn't. Oh, George Lopez.
George Lopez, thank you.
I felt bad about that. George is a big fan, and they just asked him while he was in the middle of having a great time. They were like, hey, you want to come on stage? He's like, fuck yeah. And he already had some drinks, and then he went on stage, and we have all done that. We have all.
Oh, absolutely.
We've all had the time of our lives where we're drinking and having a good time. And but George is famous, and George, it was kind of weird for me for people to go. I saw a couple people going at him really hard online, and I'm like, hey man, he had too much to drink and he was having a good time. Even the guys in KISS forgave him. You know, it's like it's just. But we've all done that. We've all had. Too much
I know.
to drink.
I mean, I don't know if you listen to Three Sides of the Coin at all.
I've been on the show.
Oh, of course you have. But Mark was talking about that, and especially like what happened during the drum off and all that stuff. And he's like, I can kind of see how you'd get frustrated, especially if you're in the drum off.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I mean, dude. First of all, we had a roast that was about to be done. The roast has now been canceled. I don't know if they're going to reschedule, but they're going to do a Friars Club roast in New York of Gene Simmons.
Let me guess, hosted by Jeff Ross?
Hosted by George Lopez.
Oh.
And so I contacted Jeff and I said, dude, is there... I met George 2 years ago when Paul Stanley asked me to open up for his R&B
Soul Station.
Soul Station. And the show was me, George Lopez, and then Paul Stanley doing his R&B and soul music. And George could not have been one of the nicest, famous comedians I've ever met in my life. I introduced myself to him before the show, and I said, hey, my name's Craig Gash. He goes, oh, man, I heard about you. He said, yeah, I know you're doing the show. Yeah, man, this is going to be fun. And he was like, he was very loose about, what do you want to do, man? How much do you want to do this amount? You want to do this amount? And I go, hey, whatever. Whatever's good for you. And he goes, just do whatever you want. And then I do my thing. And then when I come off stage, George is like, dude, I know exactly who the fuck you are. Like, as soon as he heard my stuff, he was like, he made the connection. And he was like, don't go anywhere. I want to hang out with you. And then George goes on stage, does his thing. And afterwards, he goes, what's your cell phone number? I'm going to text you right now. What's your Instagram? I'm going to follow you right now. What's your Twitter? I'm going to tell everybody to follow you on Twitter. And he was just a prince of a human being. And so the Gene Simmons roast is coming up, and I texted George and said, is there any way I can be a part of this? I'm the only guy on planet Earth that can do 5 hours of KISS material in one stand-up show. And he said, don't worry, bro. I got you. I'm on the cruise right now. I'll call you when I get off. And I was like, you're on the on the Kiss cruise as a fan? Like, I was like, what? Like, and I posted on a Kiss Cruise fan page, hey, everybody, hope you guys are all having a good time. Sorry I'm not with you guys this year. Keep an eye out. There is a really famous comedian on the ship with you who's kind of going incognito, but let me know if you recognize him. And it was kind of this fun game that I would check the thread every, like, once a day.
Yeah.
And people were kind of playing along going, like, dude, I met GL. So cool. I met GL on the DL. And people were like, wait, who's the famous comedian? What, there's a famous comedian on board? But George Lopez is watching Kiss every night behind the stage.
Right.
And taking pictures. And he's a fan. He's just a fan.
Yeah.
And then the last day of the cruise, my phone starts blowing up. There's all these notifications. And I'm like, the hell's going on? It's late at night. And I see, hey, man, your buddy George needs to slow down a little bit. And all these messages, and I'm seeing like, oh, man, George got really fucked up tonight. And he started yelling at people. And I was like, oh, no. And then the story started to come out. And I was like, it's just one of those things, man. It's not like, I don't think he just had too much to drink. We've all been there. We've all had too much fun. And but people were trying to make it like, like they've never done that before.
Right.
That bummed me out. So.
Oh, Scott's checking in from Canada. Sorry, I'm late. Hello from Canada. I missed a lot of Canada talk already.
Yeah, man. It's been nonstop Canada and poutine and fucking hockey.
Yep,
we actually we started this out. Do you mind if we recap? I mean, we've already
go
done
ahead.
this.
Feel free.
I walked in, I lifted Izzy's shirt over his head, and I just beat him across the face a few times. He did the same to me. We dropped the puck, and then fucking A.
Yeah, absolutely. So you missed it. Scott's trigger word to have a shot of Crown is actually racist.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I tell you what, we're going to take a short little break here. We'll come right back. I want to get into comedy roots and all that kind of stuff. Before we go, make sure you do check out Beater Amplification. That is Beater Amplification, Beeter. I am their very first artist. Cannot wait to get my TCB1 head. Oh, I cannot wait to get that. But these things are badass, hand-wired.
Not to be confused with TCBY, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Badass, hand-wired, rock and roll, testicular fortitude heads. Amazing tones. Check these guys out. Beater Amplification. And we will be right back with more Craig Gass.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnyTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnyTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
All right, and we have returned. And also make sure you check out John Palumbo Design for all of your graphic design needs. And A&P Productions Laser Engraving Division. They do laser engraving. They engrave shit with lasers. It's pretty impressive.
Right on. That's some Luke Skywalker shit.
Yeah, absolutely. They did my roadie packs, which I have 2 left. You can get one for $29.99. plus $5 shipping and handling inside the continental United States of America. that consists of another fucking podcast, Zippo, Dog Tag, Flashlight, and Flask. The Roadie Pack. You can get one of those. Just PayPal me, send me your address, and I'll send it. That's Izzy. That's paypal.me/Izzy Presley. Or if you just want to send me money, go ahead and do that. Back with Craig Gass, who's distracted by something. Is it by the ass on my wall, or?
That's an amazing woman there.
Yes, it is.
I'm looking at the. You have some books on your table.
Oh yes,
Paul Stanley book, an Ace Frehley book, a Gene Simmons book, and then a Peter Chris. You got all four.
Of course I do. What's your favorite? Have you read them all? Of course you've read them all. I mean,
no, I haven't.
Oh wow.
Somebody when I first started on the Howard Stern show and started doing this Gene Simmons impression, a guy who wrote a book about Ace, who used to be his assistant, sent me a book that I read an excerpt out of that I thought was amazing. Just as a drug guy myself,
right.
who's done a lot of drugs.
Was it the part where he said it's all Ace Frehley and Peter Chris's fault?
It was a story that took place at
Gene.
the that bar that used to be a church in New York. God, I have seen some evil shit in there. Only evil because I know I'm in a church,
right?
And seeing people doing coke and topless women doing weird shit, I just feel like especially evil in a church.
Sounds like the
Limelight.
Oh, okay. I see. I did not know that was a church.
Yeah, it was a former church on 20th Street and 6th Avenue. And I remember in the book, there's a story that Ace is out of KISS now. He's, getting into drugs pretty bad. And I guess Ace's face had so many marks in it that he would wear a lot of base makeup to cover up the pock marks, I guess, in his face. And he's been up for a couple of days, and he's with this guy who's his assistant/bodyguard. And they're in a VIP bar at the Limelight, and Ace says, "I'll be right back. I got to go to the bathroom." Ace goes to the bathroom, puts some drugs out on top of the toilet paper dispenser, and snorts, does a couple bumps, and then passes out in the bathroom, and then wakes up and gets his shit together, and then goes back out to the bar, and he sits down next to the bodyguard and hangs out for another half hour drinking beers, and he says, "Hey, I think I'm going to go home." And he gets in his car, and he goes through the tunnel to head out on the LIE. He's driving down the LIE, wants to do some more coke, puts on his dome light, and reaching for his coke, he sees his reflection in the mirror. And again, he's got a lot of base makeup on, and he notices there's pills and rocks of cocaine stuck to the side of his face. And he calls his assistant and goes, "Why didn't you tell me I had coke and pills stuck to my face?" And he goes, "Everyone was looking at you. I didn't want to act like it was weird. I just want, hey, it's totally normal. It's totally cool." But yeah, Ace walks out of the bathroom with pills and cocaine stuck to the side of his face. Yeah.
The words of fucking Tame Me Down. It's fucking rock and roll, Bubba.
I love Tame Me Down.
Oh, I do too.
Fucking love that guy.
And of course, that's my impression of Ace doing Tame Me Down.
Yeah, dude. Ace does an amazing Tame Me impression.
He does.
Ace Von Johnson we're talking about,
yes.
not Ace Frehley.
Ace is actually a regular on this show. We do every once in a while, usually once a month, I do what I call a drunken summit, where I'll just get a few of us together, we'll get hammered and talk about whatever.
Yeah.
No rhyme or reason. So Ace is on those all the time. But I did want to get into comedy a little bit.
Sure.
Like, what got you into it? Because I dabble in it, and it's one of the things this year I want to really get, start doing it a lot more. But like, I remember as a kid, obviously, the Eddie Murphy,
oh my God,
Delirious, and then Comedian and all that stuff. But I mean, really why I wanted to get into this too is because you do an amazing Sam Kinison.
Oh shit.
And I got exposed to so many of those guys because of Rodney Dangerfield and those specials on HBO.
My God.
Bill Hicks, which is
Genius.
my all-time favorite.
Dude, you've hit four guys that are like that could be. I mean, they're just those are four legends that I did an event for. They opened a Rodney Dangerfield Institute in Los Angeles a few months ago. They asked me to be a part of this opening. They did a live stage reading of Back to School.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's badass.
Yeah, Brad Garrett played the part of Rodney, and he was flawless. And they asked me to read for Sam Kinnison's part as Professor Turgison, which I couldn't believe, man. It was like, it was surreal. It was really surreal. And I made a lot of friends with Rodney's writers and the producers. It's fucking weird to me, man. It's crazy to make friends with people who you admire so much. You know, in music, in comedy. And I heard all these amazing stories. Like, I wanted to confirm, a friend of mine, Rico, opened for Rodney when I first started out, like 25 years ago. And I remember him coming to the club and saying, oh man, Rodney did this really crazy line tonight that was really out of character. He said, yeah, my old job, I used to get a lot of sex. I was a rapist. You know, and it was, and I wanted to confirm if the line was true. And one of his writers said, I don't think I ever heard him do that line. The one rape joke he ever did was, my lawyer, he's the best. My lawyer, he's the best. He's the best. They tried to charge him with rape. He had it reduced to tailgating. You know, it was like, it was something fucked up. But but yeah, Eddie Murphy, same thing. Bill Hicks, like, the first time I'm a huge comedy fan. George Carlin, Richard Pryor as a kid. Eddie Murphy took everything to another level.
Yeah.
When I was 15, I think the hardest I've ever laughed as a kid was listening to the Boogie in Your Butt song.
I was just going to say
yeah,
that.
I remember being physically exhausted and feeling like I'm going to die. I think I'm going to die. And the hardest I ever laughed as an adult, by the way, is this dude, Tony Woods, who, when I first moved out to New York in 1998 to be closer to Howard, because of my role on the Howard Stern show was growing, I started out doing Sam Kinison calling in live from hell on the Howard Stern show, which was this awful idea. Awful, where every time a huge asshole died, someone that we can agree, okay, that guy, we can agree that guy's an asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer. That guy was an asshole. I would, as soon as I heard about the person dying, I'd start writing some material, and the next morning, I would be on the air on the Howard Stern. It's Sam Kinison calling in live from the gates of hell with the dead guy. Hey guys, it's Sam Kinison, and I'm down here at the gates of hell with Jeffrey Dahmer, who just got down here. And this guy's staring at my ass like it's a fucking T-bone! Oh! And it was just awful, evil shit. And I started doing more and more voices on the show. And then I started writing for the show. Then I started doing really abstract. I think I was just kind of pushing the weirdness factor because, like, Al Pacino had twins. And I said, hey, wouldn't it be funny if we could have one of the babies on the show? It's because it's an audio thing. It's a theater of the mind.
Yeah, yeah.
You're Al Pacino's baby. Man, what do you like to do for fun? And everybody listening hears, all right, I like to pee. You like to pee? I love to pee. My mother, Beverly D'Angelo, whenever she changes my diapers, I give her a quick squirt right in the fucking face. Hoo-ah! And she likes it because she's a whore. It was terrible. And so I started doing all these like weird things, moved out to New York to be close to Howard. This is a real roundabout way to get to this point I'm trying to make. I start working at this club in the Village called the Boston Comedy Club that a lot of us comics started out at. Bill Burr and Chappelle. And well, actually, Chappelle came from... Okay, but Bert Kreischer was the doorman. Bert Kreischer's one of the funniest human beings on planet Earth. At the time, Bert is doing the door. I don't know why they made him the doorman. And I said to Bert, hey, man, I'm getting ready to walk out the door, man. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, is there anyone? I just moved to New York. I just moved back. Is there anyone I should stick around for? And he goes, oh, dude, Tony Woods is going on. Have you seen Tony Woods? And I go, who's Tony Woods? And he goes, you don't know Tony Woods? Oh, my God, dude, you got to watch Tony Woods. Tony Woods is the fucking best comedian. And so I walk back in the room, and I watch this guy, Tony Woods. And the hardest I've ever laughed as an adult, and maybe ever, this dude, Tony Woods, really mellow dude. This black dude, super chill, very similar. In fact, not only similar to Chappelle, him and Chappelle started out as a kid hanging out with Tony Woods. Tony was already a stand-up comedian, and Chappelle was like 15 years old. Chappelle's mom would drop off Dave with Tony Woods. So Dave learned everything he learned in his first years doing stand-up under Tony Woods. And Tony, my first time watching him, he said, he's super mellow. He's so mellow, everybody's shushing each other. Shh, shh, because he's so quiet. And he goes, yeah, man, I love pets. I love pets. But I can't keep them because I travel a lot. So when I come home, my pets are usually dead. So, yeah, so I had to get a monkey. Yeah, that monkey's cool, man. He just hangs out by himself, man. That monkey's cool. And when I come home, I'll put him in a suit and I'll take him out to the park, which is great. Because when you got a monkey with a suit on, white people will talk to you. And I love fucking with white people. Little old white lady will come to me and be like, oh my God, look at that monkey. Look at that cute little monkey. And I'll be like, bitch, that's my fucking brother. And I was like, oh my God.
Jesus
I shot out of my chair. I landed face down on the floor. And I was breathing. I was inhaling dirt off the floor. I did not see that coming at all. That is the hardest I've ever laughed as an adult.
Wow.
But yeah, absolutely.
You're doing that bit, and all I'm picturing is the Dice Clay, story about the catfish.
Yeah.
From The Day the Laughter Died, which I think is the greatest comedy record of all time.
Yeah.
And then boom, there's that. It's like,
yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah, dude. And but for me, it was George, it was Richard. Later, I discovered Sam. And then today I work with the greatest comedians in the world, and I've been really lucky that I get to watch my favorite comedians for free, or I'll be in the same town as somebody.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to I was in Vegas, just chilling out, and Bill Burr was there, and I was like, dude, can I come down? And he was like, absolutely, dude, fucking come down, get your fucking tickets, for Christ's sake, Jesus Christ, yeah. That's my half-ass Bill Burr, and get to watch some of the greatest comedians in the world for free is crazy. But it started bombing at a comedy club when I wanted to do it for fun. I didn't want to be a comedian, but the comedians that were performing that night, the quote-unquote comedians, said so many mean things about me after I bombed that night that I came back 3 years later to get revenge. And then I realized, holy shit, I can do this. And I started getting into it just to annoy the other comedians who fucked with me that night, or anyone who reminded me of those bullies from that night. And then this crazy thing happened. George Carlin got involved, Howard Stern got involved, and then it started to become a thing. And now, however many years later, I've been paying my mom's bills now for almost 18 years. So
wow.
Yeah. So
was it always impression based, or did you start?
I tried not to do impressions because early on I'd hear comedians sit in the back of the room like, "Oh, this guy's doing impressions. Oh, this fucking guy. Oh,
right.
Fucking impressions." And I was like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't do impressions then because apparently it's like a bad thing here, And then I started to realize that it was because people can get away with shit if you can do an impression.
Right.
You can just go up and do Adam Sandler and just go, I like this shibby doo hee hoo, and then people laugh, and comedians are like, he's not even saying anything. He's not even saying. So as long as you're doing something unique with it and making it something,
Are you afraid of just being known as the guy that does Gene Simmons, much like What's His Lips with the fucking John Madden?
Oh,
it's like, oh yeah, he's the guy that does Madden.
No, because when people come out, it's like the Gene Simmons thing is just. I paint a lot of stories before I get to the point of like, all right, so that's who I am. Believe it or not, I almost got murdered by one of my heroes, and then I talk about how Gene Simmons almost killed me, and it's amazing to me how iconic Gene Simmons is because no matter where you come from or how old you are, everybody gets Gene Simmons,
right?
No matter what kind of a gig I'm doing, and. But yeah, the Gene Simmons in my stand-up makes up less than a fifth of the entire show. So, and I've been lucky that I've done a lot of embarrassing things around a lot of famous people that make for great stories. So sometimes I'll take a gig just because I know it's going to be a great story. I know it's going to suck, and I'm probably going to eat my nuts, but I'll do it for the story. I think a lot of comedians will do that. We always talk about, sometimes it's not even intentional.
Much like, fucking a tranny midget.
Yeah.
Do it for the story. On principle.
You wouldn't believe it, but one of the scariest moments of my life was performing for Girl Scouts.
Oh, no.
In Germany or we're in Spain. I was with Don Jameson. Me and Don Jameson and a couple other comedians were doing a military tour. And the last night, I think, were we in Barcelona? I think we were somewhere in Spain. And the guy picks us up and says, hey, I hope you guys are ready to perform for the Girl Scouts. And we thought that was a euphemism for the troops. And we're like, yeah, the fucking Girl Scouts, a bunch of pussies, because the Girl Scouts. And I found out later that what happens is, these military bases, they get one piece of entertainment a year.
Yeah.
One. And it could be a jazz band. It could be some kind of live music that you're not into. It could be anything. And
we get Justin Bieber this year.
But when you get a comedy show, people are like, oh, everyone loves comedy. Right. So everyone's really fired up. So this military base in Spain somewhere, they get a phone call. Hey, we're sending you a comedy show, and it's going to be on this date. And then somebody at the base says, well, wait a minute, that's a holiday here in Spain. A lot of our guys are going to be gone. And they said, well, this is the date, you're getting it. So whoever's going to be there, assemble them for this comedy show. And then this guy goes, well, wait a minute. Can they do a clean show? Because we have a Girl Scout event that day. Maybe we can entertain the Girl Scouts. And the guy for the entertainment said, well, they're professional comedians. I'm sure they can do a clean show. The name of the tour was the Shock and Awe Tour. That was the name of the tour.
Oh, boy.
And so we get there, and they go, I hope you guys are ready for the Girl Scouts. We're laughing. We went out to a soccer match that night and laughing about
how much soccer sucks.
Yeah, how much soccer sucks. And, I can't wait for the Girl Scouts. Yeah, those pussies. And then the next day, we get picked up at our hotel. We're being driven on the base, and we're in this big SUV, and I'm in the passenger seat, and we start driving up to this place where we're going to perform. There's all these like bouncy houses and shit. And I'm like, what's the bouncy house? And he goes, it's for the kids. And I go, what kids? And he goes, the Girl Scouts. You're doing the Girl Scout event. And I go, are we doing this is like a real Girl Scout? I go, guys, they're fucking Girl Scouts. They're real Girl Scouts. We're performing fucking Girl Scouts. Like, wait, what? And I'm like, we're performing for Girl Scouts. And it was a room full of like 8-year-old girls. And we're going to go. And like, Don Jameson and I were like, dude, I've done shows in front of Slayer and
right.
biker bars where it's like, all right, let me figure out how to do this. I've never been this scared in my life. And it was a bunch of, I remember taking pictures because I was like, I walked out in front of a room full of 8-year-old girls like, this is not happening. And I took a picture like, no one's going to believe this back home. And that's the most scared I've ever been, was performing for those Girl Scouts. And they had no idea what we were doing there. We didn't know why we were there, and it did not go over well. But it made for a great story because
absolutely
we know that this discomfort is going to make for great stand-up later. So,
how was the New York scene compared to the LA scene?
New York,
from what I sat down with Nick DiPaolo once, and basically what I took from it was there's a really tight knit comedy community there.
Oh, and well, the comedy community in general is pretty tight knit, but New York comedians are just better. They're just better. LA comedians, the LA comedy scene has a little bit of a there is some kind of touch of wanting to be in the entertainment business in LA, whereas in New York it's just about being the best comedian you can be. And as a result, the comics in New York are just way more. They're way stronger. They're way more potent out in New York than they are in LA, and I love it. And New York crowds, you can say anything in New York, and it's shocking to me how much you can get away with in New York. There was a guy, Amadou Diallo, who was shot like some 20 some times. black guy got shot for reaching into his wallet or reaching in his pocket to grab his wallet, and then they shot him 20-something times. They said it was a gun. And that night, I remember this guy, Lewis, what was his last name? He was like an older Jewish guy, said on stage in front of a room full of black people, said, Amadou Diallo, the Amadou Diallo, he got shot 20 times. The cops, they put 20 bullets in him. But that's what you got to do with the black guys. You got to put 20 bullets to put them down. And the whole crowd just froze. And then he said, I'm an old Jew. Whenever I just hear, hello, NYPD, open up, I'm down. I'm already on the ground, And he got a laugh, and I was like, holy shit.
Wow. That would never fly out here.
Yeah. Oh, never.
Oh, my God.
And you know what? And that was 20 years ago. Now the rest of the country has become hypersensitive,
yeah.
Outside of New York. But, man, in New York and Boston and Philly, you can get away with saying rougher things because everyone's living on top of each other.
Yep.
And there wasn't not as much sensitivity, whereas in L.A. there's a tremendous amount of sensitivity. I remember seeing my buddy Big J. Okerson out here in L.A. doing a show in Hollywood where he just, on his way to a joke, he said something about being at a hotel and the Mexican housekeeper that walked into his room. And someone in the middle of the crowd said, that's racist! And I went, what? It made the whole crowd freeze.
Wow.
I was like, what? How is that? Yeah, it's just...
I think that's one of the reasons I wanted to get into comedy is just to make millennials cry.
Yeah. That's a good mission to be on, and I think that comedy is in the best position right now to change that dialogue and to change that narrative because you can never argue facts. Facts are facts. And when you have Jay Okerson used to do a joke that I used to call a magic trick because at the beginning of his joke, he makes the crowd freak the fuck out. And whether you want to or not, within 30 seconds, he makes everyone laugh. And you don't even want to laugh, but he makes you laugh. And the joke was based on a true story. He would say, I was on a date with this girl. We're in my car. We're making out. She starts crying. And I go, why are you crying? And she goes, because of this song. Because I had my radio on. And it's playing Leonard Skinner's Freebird. And she says, when I was in high school, I was raped to this song, which always makes the crowd go, what the fuck? And he goes, yeah. And that's fucked up for two reasons. Number one, rape is awful. And number two, that's a long fucking song. It's like a 6.5-minute guitar solo. I mean, come on, man. And then he goes through a whole story about, like, I went to prison and I got raped to Rapper's Delight. You ever been raped to 14 verses? 14 verses? And it makes the crowd laugh, whether you want them to or not. Yeah.
Oh, brutal. My God.
I hate to do this, man, but
I was just going to say, I was just going to take it out.
Yeah, I got a flight. I'm going to New York. I'm heading to...
why don't you give what you're coming up as Eddie Van Halen?
As Eddie Van Halen?
Yeah.
All right. Here's Eddie Van Halen in the middle of a smoke break telling you where I'm coming up to. Hey, you guys want to come to a show? You better go to getgas.com. And I'll tell you what, the guy's fucking funny. Go to getgas.com. I'll keep staring. Huh? Yeah. Fucking guy? You know what?
That's fucking great. And over the Super Bowl, you'll be in Minneapolis in the frozen tundra known as the Hoth System at
New Hope
Cinema Grill. Very, very cool venue up there.
And the week before that, Kirkland Performance Center outside of Seattle. I'm doing a show on the 27th of January. We're doing a comedy show for Seahawk fans, by Seahawk fans. The weekend after that, I'll be in Minneapolis for the Super Bowl and performing 7 or 8 shows at New Hope Cinemas. And then after that, Valentine's Day in Maui. I always do
that. Won't suck.
Yeah.
That won't suck.
Yeah, that leads right into my birthday on the 15th. So.
Nice. And so my horrible Gene Okerlund, run, do not walk to your ticket office to get all of those tickets. Go out and see Craig Gass. Dude, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Come back anytime. Because we could win for like 3 more hours.
This is Gene Simmons from KISS telling you that if you missed any part of another effing podcast, guess what? It's available for $29.95 at KissOnline.com. Click on my copies and your face will pop out. Boom.
Craig Gass, everybody.
Yay!
Yay! Make sure you...
Sorry.
That's all right, baby. Make sure you hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley on Twitter and on Facebook. Izzy Presley 1 on Facebook. Oh, wait. Twitter and Instagram is Real Izzy Presley. Support the show. PayPal.me/Izzy Presley. Another effing podcast on Facebook. Just do it all. We'll be back next week. Ladies and gentlemen, it is true. I, in fact, do love you all. Great new segment next week starting. It's called Go Fuck Yourself with Pat Fontaine. It's going to be amazing.
Nice.
So, all right. See you guys next week. I love
Go
you
fuck
all.
yourself.